The sights, the sounds, oh, and I wish you could smell the smells from some of the markets in Catania. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mediterranean diet, meet with our friends who are visiting Sicily. Oh, and the Sicilian Project had a very big day. We'll tell you all about it.
And I'm going to be talking about the University of Catania a little bit. You'll be very surprised to learn about that particular place.
All good stuff. Let's go to the markets.
This is what happens in the middle of Catania. That's Catania for you. Buongiorno. Che bello.
Stesso prezzo, ma io prenderei
Faccio
told her I would be available
Look at this. This is my type of stuff.
Salve.
Salve. This goes under only in Sicily. Cacciofi artichokes on top of this. Well, how should I describe this car? Here's my famoso zuppa di cozze. Al, what do you think?
Tuna. That's Charlie the tuna. No, that's Cologio the tuna. We have swordfish, Sam the swordfish, and Sammy the shrimp.
Now, we saw some beautiful tuna at the fish market today, and you bet that's fresh, tonno, and now it's...
Look at that.
You know the key to a good calamari? Not being too chewy, and check this out. It is very lightly fried. Put a little bit of limone. Buono. Pasta con vongole.
Pasta con vongole.
Buono. Fish, vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, olive oils, herbs. These are all part of a diet that people have been eating here for thousands of years, I can safely say, and it really is a lifestyle here for them. This is the way I prefer to eat. I enjoy going to the markets, getting all these fresh produce and fish and all these types of items. I'm very heavy on herbs as well, the herbs that are so big here. It really is a beautiful thing to see everyday Sicilians filling up their bags at these markets and bringing them home to their families.
But you know what the key is, E? Moderation. Everything in moderation, as my uncle used to say to me. And that's the truth no matter what you do. Even pasta. All right, pasta here, typically they eat it several times a week, you know, but they don't make the big portions like we do in the States. 100 grams, 125 grams, put some vegetables on it. It's not all sauce. Okay, maybe if you have a sugo once every couple of weeks, but it's not all sauce, it's vegetables.
Yeah.
Fresh vegetables. And I think moderation really is the key on everything, including drinking wine.
You don't see a lot
A
of
glass
Sicilians.
of wine, right,
Yep.
right. There's no bar rooms here. There's coffee bars that sell alcohol, but I have yet to see a bar room like I did back home where you just go in there and people are sitting around getting drunk. We don't see that here.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
If they have an Aperol Spritz, they'll have one, maybe two, and that's it. I do want to say, too, that they really have this idea that food is medicine. That is another thing that I truly believe in, that there are certain foods that can help you with ailments. If you have something going on, a lot of my friends actually will say to me, Esther, why don't you have a kiwi? Esther, why don't you have this for that? Remember I had a little bit of low iron. Have some horse meat. I didn't do that. But it's this whole idea of using food instead of medicine as medicine.
Why use biologics if you don't have to? Why, really? If you
Agreed.
stop and think about it, why use it? They weren't over here 150 years ago. So these folks have deep understanding of what's going to go into their body, much more. And I've learned so much
And
here.
even before science, I
Yeah.
mean, they understand
Seriously.
that garlic, that olive oil, that all these things are very healthy. And, it really is a lifestyle. Now I'm going to say something about the Sicilian eating. And unfortunately, some of the Western practices have seeped into the supermarkets, into some of the homes. Our friends famously always say, oh, my son just loves the hamburger, loves the hot dog, loves this and that. That's Western. But it is good to see everyday Sicilians frequenting these markets. And I think the whole practice of going to these markets several times a week is also part of the lifestyle. Things are seasonal here, so not everything is always available. You look forward to some of the foods every season. So that's a great thing about the Mediterranean diet.
I think middle-class moms are very in tune to obesity for their kids, myself, okay? However, because the pricing of the fast foods is a lot cheaper as it is in the States, for the lower economic society, they still eat that stuff because basically what else are they going to eat? So they're going to get a hamburger maybe, they're going to get some stuff like that.
Well, I think though actually some of those lower classes would much more be having a pasta and with a vegetable instead of
Yeah,
a...
they would, you're right.
But I think also for a lot of kids, especially here in Sicily, and I know that for a fact also in Hungary, because my cousins were always going crazy over anything American. So that's one of our big imports, right? Or exports, I should say, movie stars and fast food.
Last thing I want to say about that is, as we discussed last week, the amount of preservatives here in Sicily, in my view, in artificial colors is far less than this in the United States. I know several of the artificial colors and products, by the way, especially cereals, are not allowed into the European Union because of red dyes and all this other
There's
stuff.
at least 100 items.
Yeah, there's a
like
lot
that.
of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you just don't find, or if you find it, it's made in Europe per the EU standards, which I think, frankly, are healthier than what we see in the United States. Just my opinion, but that's what I think.
And interestingly, Alfred, this is a conversation I had with our friend Lila and Mark, who did a day tour with us. They've been to Sicily several times. But, well, listen to their experience and listen to the story of Lila's grandparents. Your family came from Castellamare
My
and
mother's side.
Petraglia Soprana.
See?
And tell me a little bit about them.
So, Petralia, my cousin Mario Sabatino, and he is the son of one of the kids who was born in America, and then there was an illness like diphtheria which killed off their sister, and they retired to being an American. They came back to Petralia, where they then owned a bakery again. The children that came from Petralia to America, the older children, stayed in America, and my dad is the product of that group. My mother's crowd is from Castellamare, El Golfo, and her mother and father were both born there. So we have many cousins who are from there, many times.
So you visited as a child,
Yeah,
but you didn't speak Italian.
no.
And you're still in touch with a lot of your family.
A lot
What
of
is
the
it
family.
like visiting family in Castellamare?
It's good now because I speak more Italian, so it's even better. It's even better now that I am sort of a family representative for my family, for my parents who are older and live in New York. But they keep in touch, and thank God for Facebook because it's been really great.
What are some of the best things about coming to Sicily?
Food and just speaking Italian.
Experiencing life,
Experiencing
huh?
life, exactly.
What are some of your favorite towns?
I would say that Sicily,
Sicily?
and Modica, Noto. I think that the towns and the mountains are really nice, for sure. And of course, Edice and Castellamare del Golfo is beautiful.
Well, I'm hoping you fall in love with Catania in this area.
It's definitely fun because it's more of a city, for sure. I mean, there's action here.
Mark is French Canadian, Irish, and are you enjoying Sicily?
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. I love the authenticity of the place, and I really have enjoyed the mountain towns the most. So Petralia, Soprana, and Erci, and Ragusa. They're very beautiful towns. cities.
What are some of your favorite foods to eat?
Arancini, of course.
I am a devout carnivore, and so I like the pork.
Have you had some good sausage?
No, we haven't had sausage, but a lot of ham and dried
Guanciale.
meats. Yeah, had a suckling pig the other day. That was
Maiolino.
absolutely delicious.
This is how you do it, and with an aperitivo. There's Leela and Mark. And now here we have the arancini burro and all these snacks, and you don't even have to have anything here. That ricotta arancini looks pretty good. Oh, look at her face. She is buono. For people who have family in Sicily, they live in other countries, and they're toying around with the idea of reconnecting. What would you say to them?
I would say, even if you don't actually see somebody that you're a relative to, you are still a relative to the town. You do belong there, and you should just connect as much as you can. And bring a guide with you to help you with the language, or try to learn as little or much as you can, honestly. So for me, when I visited with my parents, I've always relied on them to talk to the cugini. And now it was me alone, and I studied for 3 years, and I felt that I had accomplished something. I was able to communicate, and worried about every verb tense, and worried about saying something that would initiate the conjunctivo tense, and hoping I got it right, and little things like that. But it was very, very satisfying.
It helps
As a
elevate your
student,
experience,
yes.
right?
Yes, for sure.
Acca like a ching, acca like a chow, acca like a chin chin, chow chow chow, boomeranga, boomeranga, sisk boom ba, Catania, Catania, rah rah rah. Hey, listen, best bargain in probably Southern Europe is the University of Catania. 11,000 undergrads, another 40,000 part-timers. They offer 8 programs in English, advanced programs, 17 undergraduate majors. Founded in 1454, by King Alfonso, a great school, the law school. Now, what does it have to do with me, Alfredo sauce? Very simple. Well, one of our directors from the Sicilian Project, Professor Rosario Ferracci, who's a great professor there, is on our board of directors. And our administrative assistant and director, Stefania, and also a teacher for the Sicilian Project, is also a graduate of that particular school. Pound for pound, imagine sending your kid to the University of Catania for €1,000, and that's the international student price. You got to be kidding me. If you have a kid and you're a dual citizen, scope it out, it's great. Rah, rah, rah.
Brought to you by no one. We had a beautiful graduation day with the Sicilian Project kids. For those of you who don't know, the Sicilian Project is our nonprofit. We have 30 children, and let's give a little snippet of graduation.
Shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Bravo. Okay, now we are part of the Sicilian Project, and we were very happy to provide this opportunity for the children.
Allora, facciamo parte del Sicilian Project, l'associazione che ha organizzato questi corsi di inglese, e siamo veramente felici di aver offerto questa opportunità ai nostri ragazzi.
Young men here
Questi due ragazzi qui
are very far away from home.
sono molto distanti da casa, sono degli americani.
They're servicemen in the Navy from Sigonella.
Sono dei militari di Sigonella.
Who come here every week to work with the children.
Ringrazio di cuore l'associazione The Sicilian Project per questa opportunità che ci è stata data a tutti i ragazzi dei Cicatene in fondo, e davvero siamo grati per tutto questo, per questo progetto che è stato un pochettino rivissuto qui in questi mesi al centro della gioventù.
Nostro piacere. E speriamo anche prossimo anno.
Senz'altro.
Ok, grazie.
You know, I'm glad you showed that graduation. While they were having the graduations, afterwards I was speaking to the parish priest and the architect. They're going to put outside, Esther, canteen for the kids, food place, and they asked for our help. So the Sicilian Project is going to help them raise funds for the camp, which we expect to have 150 kids this year, and you can help too. If you make a donation of $50 to the Sicilian Project at www.thesicilianproject.com, we will enter you in our raffle, a 60/40 raffle, at no extra cost to you. It's tax deductible because we're a 501c3, and we have 2 more weeks to go before we have the raffle, maybe 3, okay? We have to sell another 50 tickets, and if we do that, we'll be able to give them a nice donation towards the building of the canteen for the kids, which is really what it's all about.
I have to tell you, it's one of the most gratifying things, finishing the class, a little bit sad. We had great teachers. We had volunteers from Sigonella. It was great to have those guys, and the kids were so sweet at the end. They came up, they hugged me, they said thank you, and the parents were super appreciative as well. So thank you if you've helped us before, and in advance, thank you for going to help us in the future. For those of you who don't know, we do tours of Sicily, and last year we started a tour in Tuscany, and it's going to be towards the end of September. We're going to repeat that tour. It was incredibly successful. Tuscany is beautiful, great wine, great foods, and the medieval towns, let me tell you. Anyway, we still have room for the Tuscany tour, so check it out, www.youmeandsicily.com. And on that note, happy Palm Sunday if you're watching this long and you're watching on Palm Sunday. Next week we're going to have some Easter highlights, and thank you as always for spending this little time with us. We really appreciate you. We love you and thank you very much. Grazie
Se
mille.
benedica, grazie a tutti. Ciao.
Ciao.